If you're this close to starting journaling, but you haven't, I have a challenge for you. A simple challenge, the easiest way to get started with journaling so that you can heal your food relationship, you can stop self sabotage, you can interrupt the binge cycle, understand what's going on inside, get more control, make wiser eating decisions. All those good things are at the other side of journaling. But journaling is a skill. It's like piano. You start off small, you progressively practice, and you get better and better, and you obtain these things with practice. But how do you get started? What if you know all this stuff? You know that journaling's good for you. You are drawn to journaling. You're an introverted person or an analytical person or a creative person that is drawn to journaling. You know journaling would be good for you, but you haven't started yet. How do you do that? What's the simplest, easiest way to get started? And will you take on my challenge that I am laying upon you right now, if you are interested in journaling but haven't started yet? Only write your food. Forget all the thoughts, forget all the emotions, forget everything else, time, place. Those are the advanced piano skills, if you will. Those are the advanced journaling skills, the intermediate ones. We won't talk about advanced skills. The most important thing is getting started, right? Write down your food before you eat for one day. One day, one whole day before you eat, before you're about to bite in. I gotta journal. I gotta journal for one day. Commit to it. Before breakfast, you're cooking. You pull up the app. You write down oatmeal and eggs or cereal, whatever. Or if you don't have breakfast, no worries. Don't worry about it. Forget about when. Forget about what to eat. Forget about everything else. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about healthy food choices. Don't just be normal. The only thing different is just write what you're gonna eat before you eat it for one day. Challenge yourself. This is my simple one day food challenge. Take out the app, a piece of paper, before you eat. Before. The whole thing is before. This is a big thing. Very, very important. Before you eat. This kind of is what sets eating enlightenment apart from a lot of different stuff. It's before you eat. You write down your food before you eat. Okay? It's really, really important you get this before. And here's what's going to happen when you write it down before. Number one, you're either going to intrinsically get it. It's going to click for you as soon as you start a whole day of writing down what you eat before you actually eat it. It's going to click, or it's not. Listen, I'd say about 40% of people who are exposed to my blog articles, my content, about 40% are drawn to journaling. The majority of people are not drawn to journaling. That's okay. Journaling is a beautiful tool for creative, analytical, organized, logical people who like to write, people who like to do self-discovery, who are in a heart space and a mind space to go on an inner journey, who want to master a skill, really. Want to not follow a plan, a health plan, but to start authoring their own health journey, to start taking control and bringing awareness to their internal world, even if it's difficult to feel some of this stuff, even if it's difficult, it's worth it because what is difficult is worth it. This whole journaling thing, feelings and emotions, it's difficult to learn that. Don't get me wrong. It's worth it. It's incredibly worth it. But don't start with the difficult part. That's what a lot of people, I feel, have told me. They either say, I've heard this a bunch of times. I've heard this multiple times recently. I don't know what to write. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm feeling. And then also, this big thing of, I did eat bad and I'm really ashamed of it. And I don't want to feel that shame and that guilt, so I'm just going to ignore it. These are 3 pitfalls you got to watch out for. That's not what this challenge is about. Listen, if you don't know what to think, or if you don't know what to feel, or all the feelings and thoughts that are confusing, guess what? We aren't doing that in this challenge, silly. I know when you open up the app, it says thoughts and emotions, but this challenge is just the food. Ignore all the thoughts, ignore all the feelings. That can come later. That can come later. This is either going to click for you or it's not. And you're going to know by the end of the day. You're going to know 100% if this journaling thing before you eat makes sense, if it resonates with you, or if it doesn't. That's my challenge. Discover this out for yourself. Are you a journaler? Do it for a day. And if you do binge or overeat, it's okay. You know, you're learning a skill. Are you supposed to practice perfectly in the beginning? No. Remember, we study our binges. We learn from them. We look at them. We talk about them. In our community meetings, we talk about them. People sometimes share their journal entries and say, hey, here's my thoughts about this. Here's why the binge happened. Here's what I can do differently next time. We study our habits. So, listen, a binge is going to happen. It's going to happen, okay? If you're trying to be perfect and avoid binges, well, you know, they're going to happen and you're not going to learn from them. So, I'm not saying to go out of your way to eat sugary foods or anything. Just try to go through your day. And if you do mess up, if you do forget to journal, or maybe you eat and then you journal, or maybe you binge and feel really bad and you don't journal, that's still a learning experience. All of this is learning. All this is learning. Don't make journaling a perfect thing. Have an intention to write before you eat. See if that makes sense to you. See how that resonates in your heart. If you don't do it perfectly, see how that feels in your heart. See if you can learn from this. Why didn't I journal before I ate? What came up for me? Was I too busy? Why did I get too busy? Why did I get wrapped up in my work or stress? And why did I forget about myself? Why did I stop caring about myself? What was going on there? You know, so even when you don't journal, if we reflect, which is the point of journaling, if we go introspective, if we think about the eating patterns that are going on, if we study our habits, even if we don't write down anything, you can still learn from them. That makes sense? So try it out. Let me know what you think. Send a screenshot of your journal entries for the day. I want to see it. Love to see it. Be great. And then download the Eating Enlightenment journal app. Links are down below.